what you're doing here at miniCAST and what you've learned or hope to teach other people. So,
Okay. Well, my name is Lorena Sosamela, and you wanted to know where we come,
or what you're doing here.
We're presenters. We're presenting, like in an hour. Our presenters, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm hoping whatever I'm learning, I'll take it into my classroom. So,
What do you teach?
I teach science, 6th grade math and social studies.
And I'm Erica Alanis from Twin District, Horizon Middle School. I teach 8th grade mathematics, and what we're doing right now is we're going to present games for mathematics, how to engage students in by playing. And so far we have been learning a lot, and it's been a really fun experience.
That's great. What did you think about Charles Darwin? Were you there for the...
No, we came here late.
That's okay. We hope you have a good day at miniCAST.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you. All right.
What's your name?
Okay, so I'm Sabina Lasso.
I'm Ann Stewart.
Great. What school do you work for?
We work at Mitzi Vaughn Elementary.
Okay. And what grade or subject do you teach?
So I'm 2nd grade dual language.
And I'm 5th grade art, music, and science.
That's great. Okay, and what's your passion about teaching? Why do you like to teach?
So I really like just exposing students to new ideas and getting them to share what they know about anything that we're learning, and just having them feeling like they are experts in things that they know. Just that they feel that they have a voice.
Oh, that's really good.
I've been teaching for 37 years, and it's still new. This is my passion, it's love, because I love children, and I love to see them become the best they can be. I love to bring real knowledge to their discovery and have them discover that real knowledge. There is so much to learn. Technology brings a new facet to that learning. However, in the process of bringing technology into it, I really long to make sure they still have a hands-on, personal understanding of how they can learn. I want them to learn how to learn for themselves. Hands-on, first-hand experience, and use technology to get there, awesome. Technology is a fantastic tool, but the brain is the ultimate. Keep the brain going and keep it growing.
Awesome. What have you learned at miniCAST today, miniCAST 26?
I'm just eager to kind of rejuvenate and revitalize just being a teacher and just learning super new and even things that we know about but we forget about.
Awesome.
And just being able to see all these new ideas of art and technology, bringing in engineering, and just really making it a really fun and worthwhile experience.
Awesome. Agreed. What she says is absolutely true. I've been at this a long time, and I've watched the pendulum swing from starting out brand new technology and watching science become the one subject there wasn't time to teach. We've always kind of been, if there's time, cram it in. And I long to see science become its own really important primary study, because that is the future of our students. That's where the money is going to be made, but more importantly, that's where we can really make a difference in people's quality of life.
And what did you think about that presentation just right now from Charles Darwin himself?
That's so fun. I wish I was that energetic and that outgoing. But imagine like if we can learn so much from
Storytelling. The one thing I'd love for him to know, that in Scotland, it is not Edinburgh, it is Edinburgh. If you've ever been to Scotland, which I have, it needs to learn to speak the language.
Awesome.
But it was delightful, very delightful. Thank you indeed.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Very-
Charles Darwin, maybe you've heard of me?
Yes.
I was born in England in 1809, the same day as Abraham Lincoln, your favorite president, I'm assuming.
Definitely.
And like Lincoln ended slavery in this country, my wife was personally involved in ending slavery in England.
Oh, that's awesome. Didn't your dad, wasn't he like a physician? Didn't you come from a long line of physicians?
Both my father and my grandfather were physicians. my grandfather, Erasmus Darwin, was invited to be the personal physician for King George. But he declined the position, preferring a rural practice rather than the politics of the court, which gave him more time to pursue his passion, the natural sciences.
And they were definitely really educated in that. They were like up to speed on everything that was going on.
Oh yes, my family was quite wealthy. As a matter of fact, when my grandfather left this world, he left me such a large inheritance that I never had to work a single day in my life.
And that's good because you were really bad in school, right? You're a little
Well,
troublemaker.
Maybe a troublemaker. There was one time I was fascinated by chemistry and trying to mix the chemicals to see what might happen. I produced a minor explosion, but the worst part was the foul-smelling gas. And my older brother still teases me by calling me gas, if you can imagine that smell. I'm sure you produced it yourself.
Wow, that's great. So what's like the most important thing that you've contributed, you think, in your career?
But I remember once writing in a letter to my sister from Tierra del Fuego, saying that my hope is to add some small bit of understanding to the natural sciences. And I believe that possibly I did that with my theory on the transmutation of species, more commonly called evolution.
You're too modest. You're too modest, Mr. Darwin. What, didn't you say something like when The Origin of Species came out in 1859?
Yes.
Originally?
I'm impressed how much you know about my life.
The critics were very harsh about your book, but you said, I've done all that a man can do, I've worked my hardest, and that's all you can say, or something?
Well, I called the book The Long Argument, and then I refused to argue because I feel like I had spelled out all of the evidence. There's one chapter in particular that a lot of critics attacked. It is a chapter on the weaknesses of my theory. But whenever I hear critics attack saying, Charles Darwin didn't even believe himself, he wrote this whole chapter about the weaknesses, I say clearly they didn't read that chapter. Because in that chapter I answer all of their arguments. I anticipate their complaints and I provide the evidence to refute them.
And that's what a scientist needs to do, right? That's
Exactly. It's all about the evidence.
Okay, thank you so much.
My
I
pleasure.
loved The Descent of Man. That was a great book.
You know, I had
Really-
written The Descent of Man, or outlined it, before I published on The Origin of Species. I was planning to publish 7 volumes, with each volume exploring a different aspect of evolution. But I knew the controversy over The Descent of Man would be so great that I decided to save that for several years and did additional research to make sure I shored up my arguments.
Thank you for the. What school do you work for, and what grade or subject do you teach?
Okay, my name is Pamela Hart. I teach at St. Matthew Catholic School and I'm a 3rd grade teacher.
Okay, awesome. So, why do you like teaching 3rd grade? What's your passion about teaching?
3rd grade is a great age because it's transitioning from the lower elementary into the upper elementary, so you're really starting to get into deeper conversations with them. Not that you can't talk deeply with younger children, but they're very curious and they're not inhibited in their learning yet. When kids get older, they don't always want to stand out.
So they're really receptive?
Yes.
That's great. Okay. Why are you here at miniCAST today? What do you hope to learn in miniCAST 2016?
I'm just here to get some great ideas for science and teaching in general.
I've heard from some other teachers that like if you teach it right, science is like really fun for kids to learn, or that kids really love learning about science. Do you have the same situation?
Yeah, I think so. Science is naturally something that students are always curious about. They always want to know why. So it lends itself very easily to students being excited about that subject matter.
Would you like more events like miniCAST for other subjects too?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be wonderful.
Great. Well, thank you so much for
Sure,
the interview,
thank
Pamela.
you.
What's your name?
My name is Crystal Sixby.
Okay. And what's your organization? Who are you working with?
We are the National Inventors Hall of Fame. We are a museum that's located in Alexandria, Virginia.
Wow.
We have been there, and we're actually inside the United States Patent and Trademark Office.
What are you hoping to teach teachers today at miniCAST 2016?
So part of our outreach is to engage in other schools and to become involved and become partners with organizations. So what I'm here to do today is to let the educators know that there is programming available that they can use in their classroom that will get kids engaged, since they can't all go to Alexandria, Virginia to see our museums. So that's what I'm really here to talk about today. We have STEM after school and summer enrichment programs for rising kindergarten through 8th grade students.
Wow. When was the Museum of Inventorship created, or when was it?
We've been around for about 50 years. And our Camp Invention program, which is our flagship program that we offer for summer programming, has been around for 25 years. We've been doing STEM education.
Wow, that's great. Well, thank you so much for your time.
No problem.